If you've ever found yourself saying things like, that's not what I meant, or I just wanted you to be able to understand me, or let me explain what I was really trying to say, but you do this over and over again, stuck in a cycle of over explaining yourself, your actions, your thoughts. You're not really communicating when you're doing this. What you're doing is you're just over explaining to justify your reality to someone who isn't really trying to see it. Hi, I'm Madalena, and this is You Reclaimed. Today we're talking about how emotionally unsafe relationships mess with your communication and your sense of self and your ability to trust. And we do this so that you can finally learn how to stop shrinking yourself, making yourself smaller just to be understood by someone else. Let's get into it. Wait, did you subscribe yet? I have a lot more to share and I'd love to have you here for it. It really helps my channel grow and I appreciate it so much. Here's what happens when you don't feel emotionally safe with someone. You live in a space in which you're always justifying yourself. You say things like, that's not what I meant, or I didn't mean to upset you. I was just trying to help, or I didn't say it like that. Let me explain. Over and over and over. You explain your actions, your thoughts, you explain your whereabouts. You explain your likes and your dislikes as if there's something wrong with the core of you. And soon enough in this kind of relationship, you notice that you're no longer even trying to connect to this other person because now you're too busy trying to control the damage that you being you is doing to the relationship. You're spending your time trying to soften the way that your partner perceives you and who you are, to fix how they misunderstand you and to prevent them from reacting to that misunderstanding. And maybe they react by shutting down or by pulling away from you, or they react in a way that just makes you feel small and insignificant. And soon enough, the whole relationship starts to revolve around you managing the way that this person interprets you. Have you done this? It doesn't feel good, does it? Because when you're stuck in a relationship that feels like this, that doesn't let you be yourself, or in a relationship where being yourself leads to constant misunderstandings, it's because you, who you are, is not being seen and you're not being met on friendly ground by the other person. You're just working to be less misunderstood. And unfortunately, reacting in this way by over-explaining yourself, this usually starts with your earliest relationships in life, with your parents or with your caregivers, when you weren't really listened to. Maybe the other person was judging you instead of listening to you to really get to know you and who you are. Maybe they were constantly on the defensive because of their own problems or because of problems with their own emotional processing. Or maybe they made you feel like you were the problem just for having real needs and real emotions and boundaries. And again, for a lot of us, that starts in our childhood, in our earliest relationships when we were very small. And what this teaches you, without saying it outright, is that your existence has to be justified in some way, that who you are just isn't enough on its own, that it needs to be explained to be accepted by another person. And then later in life, especially in close relationships, when all of the important parts of us come out, you start translating yourself in this way. You try to make yourself more understandable, more digestible, more acceptable, because you learned early on that just being you, who you are, it wasn't enough on its own. And that's why you're far more likely than someone who grew up feeling emotionally safe and secure to fall into this pattern of explaining and clarifying and justifying your reality over and over again. If you're constantly explaining yourself, what you're really doing is you're asking the other person, please take me for who I am. Please don't leave me. Please don't shut down and lock me out. Please don't twist my words into something that they're not, or twist my actions into something they're not. But when the other person is safe, when this is a person who understands you and who accepts you, you don't have to manage every one of your words in this way. It's not necessary to prep an entire thesis just to explain a real feeling to them or to reframe things so that they sound good to the other person. You don't need to pre-think all of your conversations before you bring them to the other person. Safe people just clarify things. It's unsafe people who twist your words and your actions into things that they're not. And when you find yourself explaining yourself all of the time, there's no love in that kind of communication. It's just about you trying to protect yourself from being misunderstood by someone who's not actually trying to understand you anyway. So you're essentially just in the wrong place. You don't have to communicate in a perfect way to someone who is safe for you. Good connection, it doesn't require you to translate yourself in this way. And being honest and forthcoming with your thoughts, it feels like it's welcomed by the other person. It doesn't feel like a big risk you're taking. And even if the other person does misunderstand you, in a good, healthy relationship, it doesn't become a threat to the relationship. It doesn't turn into a big argument. It's just a small moment that is cleared up by two people because both people actually want to get things out in the open and honest. Both people want to be understood and to understand the other person. And they're both seeking to be on the same page so that they can continue to have a good relationship. That's what a good connection feels like. So if you find yourself explaining and clarifying yourself all the time, pause and ask yourself, am I sharing this extra information to connect to the other person, to create more connection between us? Or am I sharing it to somehow keep the relationship safe so that I can feel a sense of safety being with this person? Because those two things, they happen in very different types of relationships. And this is how you can figure out which type you're in. If you find yourself doing this in your relationship, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if this helped you see your own patterns more clearly, consider subscribing so we can keep doing this together. See you in the next one.